Hello, hello. I don't know if anybody's out there, but I'm here. Wait to see if anybody comes in. Been a while since I've been here. You see. Um, see, I'll share out. That might help. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Now let's see if anybody shows up. Let me share myself up. Well, okay. If I can get my mouse to work. Hi, Danny. Well, I guess you're the first one. I haven't got anybody else yet. We'll see. I mean, if I get anybody, I'm checking myself out right now. You wanna link, Danny? How do you feel like it? I gotta share it out, so that's all I can do. I hope they come. I'm waiting. Hi, RP. How are you? Hi, Christina. You're not working. It's a miracle. You're here talking to you, Christina. Are you eating? I hope you're eating something good. What y'all been up to today? Susan was going to be here, but she got a headache. I don't know. I sent her a link in case her headache eases up, but we'll see. I'm sorry, I can't sound like Count Dracula. I was excited that you're here because usually you're at work or I missed you there for a long time. You work so much. RP, I'm glad I'm back too. I don't know how often or how much I'll do, but I'm here. That's all that matters, right? Sorry, if I have to clear my throat, I'll mute it. I don't want y'all to hear all that. I shared it out. Y'all share it out so maybe somebody come. Warm up. You're, you're nutty. Gee, he gonna cover his eyes. He gonna open wide. You already know his number by now. If you don't, by now you get something wrong. Well, give it a few more minutes. See who all comes in for tell you what's been going on, and yeah, you probably already know what's been going on, but I don't know if you do or not, really, actually. But thank you, Danny, for sharing it out. It just come across my screen that you shared me out. Yeah, I just sent it to Facebook regular. I didn't put it on no none of the groups. I maybe I should have done that. Could be interesting. It could be. I don't know. I pick an off day or something. I just pick Thursdays all the time. You know, it is what it is. I haven't been on in a while, so they're not expecting me to be on, even though I said it ahead of time. Thank you, Christina, for sharing it out on the community page. Oh, favorite day. I am too, but I don't tell anybody about it. I don't have to tell anybody about it. So they know that. Yeah, and it come across that he did. Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll see. You know, it may be one of those things where I don't get too many in because I haven't been on in a while. It's like you have to build it back up after you do that. After you do it for 9 months or better. I wasn't going to do either one, Christine. I was just going to tell everybody what's been going on, why I haven't been on for a while, and give them a rundown on that. And I'm not ready to read cards yet. Um, I haven't got them out yet to warm them up. You know what I mean? I got to warm them up. It's been a while. Talking to the ghosts, I talk to them about it every day. Usually, uh, it, people think I'm not. You ever get that? You think you're talking to yourself? Yeah. You want to come up? I'll send you a link. I'll send Danny when Danny says eating though. I was just kind of wait for people to come in and say hello and see who comes in and all that. They know better now, don't they? Since they're grown. Doesn't your son go out with you and investigate stuff now? All right, hang on. Let me get the invite thing here, and I'll send it on Messenger. Okay, it's sent. And while I got this open, I'm just going ahead and send Danny one in case he decides. Totally up to him. All right. Christine, you crack me up. All right. I don't know who all's out there listening, but hello.
Hello.
You're on mute. I can't hear what you're saying.
You can't hear me?
Huh.
Now?
Well, I can't hear you.
Really? Okay, wait. It said the mic was working.
Really? I mean, there's no reason I shouldn't hear you. I mean, hang on a minute. Well,
You hear me now?
I think it might be on my end. I don't know. Let me look check my settings. Hang on.
Can you guys in the chat hear me? Oh, okay. Danny can hear me, so it's just you.
Um,
Now?
I don't see any problem on my end. I mean, you can hear me, right?
Uh-oh. I can hear
What's
you.
he say? Icon. I can hear you. You can hear me, yeah, but can you hear her?
Turn the speakers up. You have my mic muted. Can you hear me now? No? Yes?
And the
Maybe so.
spears.
Maybe if I go out and come back in.
The spears. Well, I must really got out of touch.
He meant speakers.
Can you hear me? Hang on, there's something wrong now. Oh, hang on, I know what the problem is. Lord have mercy, I done lost my brain. No wonder I can't freaking hear you yet. Yeah, you're not even gonna believe this.
What'd you do?
I'm stupid. Hang on, I gotta mute.
She's gonna laugh herself to death.
Yeah, it's. I had headphones plugged into it and forgot to put the headphone in my ear. I was there thinking, I don't know what's going on. What is wrong with this?
And I'm over here changing all the audio settings. Like, I don't know. It seems fine. Yeah, see that, RP? We're all nutty. we
Thanks,
we
Harvey, for
we
sharing.
didn't do anything but try to figure out that Mary had earbuds on, that she
That's
wasn't
right. I was
actually
thinking,
having
why
them
am
in
I
her
not
ear.
hearing anybody? I use earbuds whenever it's just, me and I watch TV or whatever on my computer, because it's in my bedroom and I got a 32-inch screen, so it's like having a TV, so I just use it to watch TV on. Well, I use earbuds so I don't bother anybody else in the house. That and I can hear better with them. So I wasn't thinking, and I was thinking, why am I not? I wasn't watching TV, in other words.
Yes, Doris. Doris
Yeah,
says you're having a blonde moment
yeah,
right now.
you got that right. A big one. Hi, Doris.
But now we got it, Doris. Not like it would be so bad if Mary couldn't hear me.
He said, I tried to tell her.
That's right.
He did. He put earbuds, but I was over on the other screen and didn't see that when I was trying to. That's funny. Leave it to me, Oh well.
That's all right. My son, good thing you couldn't hear anyway. My son was back there making his sandwich, so he was shuffling.
That wouldn't have
I
bothered
heard
me.
the whole thing. Yeah. Well, you heard the whole thing. Mary didn't hear one word I said.
I hear nothing. I was over
Mary
here.
didn't
I
hear
was over
nothing.
trying to figure out what the heck was going on. I was like, why am I not hearing anybody? Couldn't figure it out. I know, right, RP? Hey, I had to start it out with a laugh. Even though I really didn't mean to, but I did.
Mary's gonna change her channel name to, Luna Eclipse's Comedy Hour, and she's gonna tell
Right.
jokes for an hour. That's the new channel.
We've had a few of those actually over the years. Quite a few actually. It's been really funny. I remember one night, oh my God, there was a bunch of us up here, and it was, we laughed. I laughed so hard that night, my sides hurt for 3 days. It was crazy. Doris says that's because I had headphones on my
Yeah.
ears.
She
I
actually
just
has her earbuds on.
want
Hey, Evelyn, how are you? Jakku, you changed your
I,
name? Did you change your name, Jakku? You're gonna confuse me, aren't you? Is that what we're doing here?
Abby is her nickname. I call
Ah.
it Evelyn, but my middle name's Evelyn.
Jakku. I always say that, but I'm sure that's not how you.
Hang on, I gotta mute for just a second. I'll be right back.
That's why you changed it, right? So Evie, so that I could say it right. Yep, I know. I know the whole story.
All right, I'm
Yeah,
back.
I didn't see you, Jakku, on his live. He had some good ones. Well, because I was on there. Well, I'm married too, so they were good.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I was sick today. I missed it. Well, I woke up, but I was doing stuff, and I didn't realize what time it was. So I didn't wake up till like 2:30. And when you wake up and you're trying to wake up and you got things you got to do. I had to go through my mail and stuff like that. And it didn't dawn on me about him being on till like 4:30, I think it was. And I'm like, crap, I missed him. But I'll go back and watch it. Who was on today?
Colleen.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go back and watch it. I like watching. I watch certain ones. Now, the last 9 months, I haven't watched a whole lot of videos. Really, I kind of have took a break completely from it, and I had to deal with my son and me and all that. So I took a break from it because even though you're not doing anything spiritually yourself, when you watch somebody else's, you have a tendency to pick up stuff and things come to you, and I didn't want that
Oh yeah.
because I needed to keep myself clear of all energy drawing stuff. So I haven't watched any videos or anything for the last 9 months.
I only have crafting. The only thing you're gonna pick up is how to be handy.
Right.
I didn't really do too much paranormal at all. Like one or two maybe shorts, but I didn't really do too much paranormal. It's all been crafting. I'm waiting for this one thing to try. I don't know, come out. I saw this lady do something. I'm like, that's not gonna work. So I'm trying. So we'll see if it tries. If it works. I don't.
Yeah. I just
Sometimes I see these things. I go, no, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna try it.
yeah. Thank you, Abby. I've missed everybody too. I really have. I I didn't mean to leave everybody hanging or not watch videos. It's just you got to do what you got to do when you have to do it. And I know that Danny understands that because he's had days where he can't do it either. And I mean, there's just times you just can't, and that's I had to do what I had to do.
Yep.
That's all right, RP. I understand. I'm sure everybody else does too.
Yeah. I use the talk to text feature all the time, but it doesn't understand my accent, and for some reason it can't spell the word mystical. So every time I say, "Oh, mystical," it types it with like a K-A-L. I don't know, some crazy spelling, and I'm like, "Why the heck don't you know your smartphone how to spell mystical?"
Right. I mean, and you get you be typing stuff on Messenger or even on here, and you're typing stuff on your phone, and to put it on there, and you have that where they ad lib for you. They put in whatever they
Oh yeah,
think you're
you start
supposed to be
typing
saying.
something and it thinks, maybe you spelled it wrong. Because sometimes
Right,
I
and
do
then they
that. I
put it
spelled
in.
it wrong and it's like,
It's
Oh no, she
real.
must mean, you know, I'm writing saw, SAW, and maybe I spelled it wrong, and it changes it to sex, and I'm like, who?
Right,
I said nothing of the sort. You're gonna get me in trouble.
right.
What?
I did that the other day. I was writing to somebody in it, and it just totally messed up the whole text. And I'm like, what does that even say? And I'm like, so I had to retype it all and make sure that it didn't put it in. It tried. You got to hit the little check mark thing to keep it from putting it in there. And it's just crazy. I couldn't believe what they put on there.
Yeah.
I did
Um.
talk to text app to say what I say one word at a time. Doris.
Oh no, and that's why Doris, my phone hates me because and sometimes I get passionate, and I press that talk text button and I'm like, and do you know what she did? And blah blah blah. And the phone is just like, what the heck is she saying?
And if you talk, yeah, you talk to somebody else, it's like, what? It just totally just goes, it starts doing
And
letters.
sometimes it actually the button comes off, and like, I said, a whole sentence, and I looked down, and like right after the second word, it was like, nope, and it shuts off because it's like, no,
Right?
I'm not writing that.
Hi, Shire. How are you?
Hey, Shire.
I'm glad to be back, Shire. How are you doing? Been a while since I talked to you.
Well, RP. I'll describe myself to you. I'm tall, skinny, blonde. No, I'm kidding. I might as well look that way to somebody, Mary.
I'm sure people do that to him all the time. I wouldn't do it. I'm big, and when I emphasize the big, it means I'm overweight. Salt and pepper hair now. I colored it in a minute, and I cut it so it's short. I hate it cutting my hair, but gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. No, it's too
So
much to take care of. Like I cut it short, and for a while I was like, great. But then you get into that weird stage where like you can't do anything with it. It's like in the middle of short and long, and now it's just long again, and I'm like, just shove it in a like a lady's bun. That's a messy bun. That's it. You're well like a puppy with two tails.
I know. I was just reading. He cracks me up.
Doris.
Doors. Uh, I got a few again here, so I'll tell you what's been going on. Why I took the
I'm
break that
slim
I
and
took.
29, Doris.
Slim 29. I gotta laugh at that one. That'd be like me telling them I'm thin and 29. It ain't gonna blow over. Sorry, Doris. We're up at her age now. You may be thin, but 29 we're not. Anyway,
Now, I've been 36 for the last 10 years and I'm loving it.
I remember you saying that.
You're still going. First, I was 36 for 6 years. Now I'm 36 for 10 years.
Right? Okay. First off, I took a break because I ended up with pneumonia in both lungs. It took a while for that to clear up enough to where I could talk without losing breath or air. And then my son got sick in November of last year. Um, He come to me one day, one night. Oh, well, yeah, let's see. No, it was that morning. He come to me that morning and said he didn't feel well, and he had something in his chest didn't feel right. And I said, "Well, you sure you're not catching a cold?" Well, you know what? He's only 28 years old. At 28 years old, you don't think nothing bad, right? At
Right.
28, so you kind of want to go through everything else before you get to the bad part.
Right.
So I said, "Well, maybe you're just catching a cold or something like that." I said, "Because I just had pneumonia." Hi, Mad Max. Welcome to the channel. And so, I just thought maybe that was it. Well, by afternoon, he says, "Mom," he said, "it's really bothering me." He said, "I don't know what's going on." And I said, "Well, maybe you need to go to the hospital." He said, "No." He said, "I don't want to go to the hospital." He said, "Maybe it's just a cold or something like you said." So by the evening time comes around, he said, "I got to lay down." He took a shower. He thought he would feel better if he took a shower, in the steam and stuff. He thought maybe it'd make him feel better. It didn't. If anything, it didn't help him at all. So he come out. He said, "I'm going to lay down." I said, "I think you need to go to the hospital." So I had my cousin come and take him to the hospital. But she had to pretty much get him up out of the bed, help him get up. He done got from that morning to that evening, he done got to where he was doing good to even walk to get to anywhere. So she took him to the hospital. He's in there all of not even 15 minutes. I swear to you, they hadn't been gone 15 minutes. And they call me and tell me that his lung had collapsed and that he was going to have emergency surgery if they couldn't get the lung to go back up. So, needless to say, it didn't go back up,
Hmm.
and they had to put a tube in his chest. They done that. He wasn't there. He wasn't even there 4 hours, and they put the tube in the chest, and then still wouldn't go up. They waited a day and a half. They run all kinds of tests, and they did a CAT scan. They did a couple of CAT scans actually, and then they come back and told us that he had a severe case of emphysema, and that it's called bulbous emphysema, where you get blisters all over your lungs. And he had blisters all over both lungs, totally covered. And what caused his lung to collapse? One of the bulbs busted and caused air to leave his lung and go into the chest cavity, which, if anybody knows, there's a lot of pain involved in that, severe pain actually. And so then um, hi Jim,
And
uh,
and and Kyle came in too.
hi Kyle. And so then they went from that, and then they come in and told us that, they come in and told him that if his lung didn't come up, they were going to have to go in and do surgery. And if the hole didn't close up, and it didn't, so they went in to do surgery, and they did it laparoscopically. Thank God they didn't have to open him and crack his ribs and all that to get to him. But they did remove part of his left lung. It was basically dead at the bottom of it. Um, they removed a piece off the top of his right lung. Um, and they took this film like stuff and they put it over his left lung and wrapped it to keep the air in, to so it would heal itself eventually, that hole, and stop the air from coming through. He was in there almost 4 weeks.
Wow.
So And then we had recovery time at that I had to go through at home, stuff like that. That I didn't want to be live and something happened and all that, so I chose not to go live, and I chose to spend that time making sure he was doing what he needed to do to stay going, and stuff. Um, this is something he'll live with the rest of his life. The blisters will never go away. Um, so we don't know. We don't know what's next. He had to go to a cardiac doctor because he had heart palpitations and his blood pressure was going up, down, up, down, up, down constantly in the hospital. They couldn't figure out, what was causing that. And so he's still seeing a heart doctor. He's got to go back to them. And then we got to get him a pulmonary. We couldn't believe they didn't give him a pulmonologist when he come out of the hospital. So we got to get one of those whenever his heart doctor's done. I guess we're going to get one of those to see what do we go to next, because he can't handle any smells or anything like that causes him any irritants or anything like that to his lungs. And they have told us that if another one pops, which is most likely, they just don't know when, that he'll be back in there again with the same thing. Um, so it could happen any day, anytime, it could be years from now, but who knows? Nobody knows. So he's just something he's got to live with the rest of his life.
Is that something hereditary? He's had it a long time.
No, they think it's from that. That's not hereditary. It's caused from smoking cigarettes. Um,
That just seems
he,
like such a bad case. He's
well, they said
28,
that.
you know?
Well, this is what they said. They said it could be caused from smoking cigarettes, but they think that it's a good possibility. It's what caused it, because he had no other symptoms to cause it or anything. Yes, we have hereditary stuff in our family, but we checked on what would be hereditary for that, and we do not. Now, I have COPD, but it's not the same. So,
Right.
um, 28 years old, he's going to live with that the rest of his life. I mean, it's crazy to think that.
Yeah.
I mean, that mentally that challenged me an extreme amount, because for starters, he's so young. He's my son, and to think he's going to have to live with this the rest of his life. That mentally took a toll on him, took a toll on me. It's not been something easy to live with, or to deal with. But we've done it, and he's doing okay.
Good.
He's up, moving around, walking, doing whatever he needs to do. And he quit smoking. He quit smoking the day he went to the hospital, and he said, I'll never smoke again. And he
Yeah.
hasn't. He went cold turkey, matter of fact. He wouldn't even wear the patches. He said,
Uh,
no. He said, I'm going to do this. I'm doing it without anything. And he did it. Grouchy wasn't a word for it for the first week and a half, 2 weeks. Oh my God, the devil itself couldn't live with him in that hospital. But I remember many arguments with him. I'm like, I'm not arguing with you. You're not up to this. I'm hanging up. And I'd hang up. I'm not arguing with you. But it was a sad thing that, when they told us what was going on. And I remember I cried. Oh my God. Because I didn't know at that time if he was going to be okay or not, or whatever. When they said they had to remove part of his lung, I'm like, what? You don't expect that. I know it happens, but they said for his age, it very seldom happens. And so I was a little shook up that they had to remove part of his lung.
yeah. Well, I think that
Yeah, they are shot.
the
I
lung
agree.
the lung is the only thing that they can. Like I remember this woman I used to work with. She had this rare type of cancer in her lungs, and it was slow going. But in order to like keep it slow, going, they would like take little pieces of her lungs out. The ones that got like cancer things. Oh, take it out, take it out. I'm like, this lady
Yeah.
gonna have no lungs left, like what do they do?
Well, you can
But they're
live with
like,
one
well,
lung.
she could die right now, or we could take a little out, take a little out, take a little out. Oh,
You can live with one lung. You got to have at
yeah,
least one.
yeah.
You got to have half of each, or at least one. Um, so after we got through all that with him, I got pneumonia again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you ran yourself ragged.
Right. And it was cold out, and I was out in the cold going there to the hospital and stuff, and being around people and stuff, which I'm really cautious when I'm around people. I wear a mask and all that. But I not only had pneumonia, I have a buildup of fluid in my right lung, and we can't seem to get it out.
Mm.
Um, we have trying different things now. Like I just got two new inhalers, and um, gonna try them. And I think that uh, I'm gonna get what they call a pickle. And I got a spirometer, but a spirometer thing, that you breathe. If anybody's seen it, it has this little thing in the middle that you want to go up to like 2,200 to 2,500. It's a normal range. But anyway, it's a thing you use to strengthen your lungs, and it helps get the fluid and mucus out. I have that, but it's old, so I'm going to get a new one of those too, and we're going to see how well that works and go from there. But the lung issues is what's caused me mainly to not be streaming like I was before, or being on as much. Right now I'm okay, but sometimes I get winded real easy, and I have to quit talking for a while. Um, Thank you, RP, and thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Um, but I am better than I was, so I'm going to start streaming some. I don't know exactly how much. I'm going to try setting 1 day a week for now. And I may have to switch that day. And if I do, I'll try to put it on a community tab or something like that, that I've had to switch it so everybody knows what's going on. Or I'll put it on my Facebook page and stuff like that. I'll let everybody know. Um, but I want to get back into paranormal some. My energy level seems to be leveling out now, so I should be able to do some of that again now. So that's really my passion is paranormal and cards and stuff like that. Talking to the spirits mainly, helping people, with their stuff and their spirits or whatever problems they're having. That's my goal, to do all that. So if I can just get this one lung to straighten out some, we'd be good. It's not that the lung itself is bad; it's just getting the fluid out of it. It's the problem.
Yeah. Now, does it cause you a lot of, besides getting winded, it doesn't cause you any other problems, right?
Um, it doesn't hurt or anything like that. I can't do a lot of exertion, or I get winded to the point to where it's bad. But I've got to where I know my limits. I'll put you like that.
Hmm.
I do wear oxygen. I have been wearing it a lot, mainly most of the time, all the time, until I get it straightened out. Because if I take it off, my oxygen level drops down to about 87, 88. and they want to keep it 90 and above. So, I mean, for your heart, it needs to be 90 and above.
Right.
Um, but I'm doing okay. I'm with and on. My oxygen runs about 94, 95 to 98. Depends on if I'm having a good day or a bad day. So I wear it when I sleep and stuff like that. So I don't, but I'm doing all right. I'm better than I was. I'll put you like that. I
Yeah.
don't have pneumonia, so that's a good thing.
That's probably where the water built up right when you had the pneumonia. My daughter, she gave me a big scare. They told her my daughter has had a low white blood cell count since low or high? A high white blood cell count since she was, I don't know, 14, on and off. Nobody could figure out. They always said, oh, you must be sick, you must have an infection, whatever, you know. Because you really only go to the doctor when you're sick, you know?
All right,
So they said, no, you're sick, probably that's why your white blood cell count was just had a little one, he was premature and now he's about 8 months. And she was getting like a weird like heart palpitation, and she said it felt like somebody was squeezing her head. Like, no, I have to go to the hospital. So the boyfriend takes me to the hospital. He calls me. He's like, "We're in the hospital." I'm like, "Okay." Um, so I'm like, "Okay, keep me informed." So she calls me back in the morning, and goes, "Listen, basically my white blood cell count is 20,000. Most people's are like between 2,000 and 3,000. It was a
right,
whole bunch high. So
right.
she's like, and pretty much they thought she had blood cancer. Like, I guess they call it like non-Hodgkin lymphoma, something like
Yeah,
that.
it's
I think that's
leukemia.
what they call it now. It used to be leukemia, but leukemia
Oh,
now is something else, and now they call it like non-Hodgkin or
well,
something.
they have like bone marrow cancer, which is basically leukemia,
Right.
and then they have what they call leukemia, and then there's two or three others, I think.
Yeah. So she said no, they want to go and take a sample of my bone marrow, but it hurts, and blah blah blah, and I don't want to. Like, look, before you go nutty, get a second opinion from a specialist. I mean, you just went to the hospital,
It's hereditary, but go ahead.
right? So I said, go to the specialist. So the specialist said, okay, send the record. So they sent the record from the hospital. He said the same thing. Most likely, you have uh, some form of leukemia or blood cancer or something. We have to go in your bones.
All right.
But he's like, I want you to go take all these tests first, and I want to get the stuff back. Like,
It's not easy to diagnose. They have to make sure that that's what they're.
yeah,
I mean, because it mimics a lot of other things.
right. So it's all these tests, all these tests, all these tests, and
Right.
and she calls me because now I'm waiting. Like, I'm thinking, the poor baby's gonna be without the mother, like all this stuff, and I'm like half hysterical. I must have went through a carton of cigarettes in like a few days. Like, I was hysterical, and she calls me and she's like, "So this is the deal. I have very low iron." I'm like, "Okay, so you have anemia. What? I had anemia when I was younger. Tell me something, tell me about the other stuff. I don't care about your low iron. There's pills for that." And
Right.
she's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
"God." She's like, "But it's extremely low." I'm like, "Okay, what else?" So she's like, "Oh, um, well, they said I have chronic bronchitis." She always had a problem with like swollen glands and bronchitis, all that. ear infection. So she has like a chronic bronchitis. It doesn't go away, and it kind of hides. So right away, the doctors don't realize that she has
Right.
bronchitis. She doesn't have the symptoms or anything, right? So it's like all the time she has bronchitis. She never not has bronchitis,
Right. My
right? You
cousin's
know.
got that. Yeah.
So that's why her blood cell counts are so high. Go figure. I don't know. That's what they told her. So they're like, let's work on your iron. I'm like, scare the person to death. Scare me to death. And this is what you're going to come up with. I don't know. But
Well, I'd get a second opinion.
that's what I
That's
told
what
her.
I'm saying.
I keep
With
going to
if
test.
her iron is extremely low and her white blood cell is high, I'd get a second opinion.
Right.
I'm just saying because leukemia can kill your ass, and it won't mess around about doing it.
Well, that's what I told her. You know, I don't know. I think you should go back for some more tests. I mean, try to get your iron up. Yes. But if that doesn't change anything, I can't believe the bronchitis is hiding. Like they don't see it,
Bronchitis can
you
be
know?
dormant, what they call chronic
Yeah.
bronchitis. But my cousin has it, but her blood cell count don't stay high like that.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like
Her
always high.
iron don't stay low like that. So I would definitely. I mean, I don't know how close you are to it, but isn't there like a big name hospital there she could get into to be checked?
Well, she lives in Indiana with my grandma. I'm in New
Okay, we're
York.
at we're at in
But
Indiana.
Indianapolis has a big hospital,
Oh
that's
well, she
where
should be able to. Which one? I mean, it's none of my business, but you don't want to put it on here. But which one did you go to?
um I don't remember now.
It's all right.
Well, she
It's
went
all
to
right.
the hospital that she went for all the tests the second time was Riley, I believe it was called. Riley Hospital in Indiana.
Riley is that's a children's hospital. How old is she?
Well, she's practically no, she's 24.
Well, she's still young though. It could be the
Yeah,
one she needed to see was there. Now there
and
is a Riley's there. There's St. Jude's, not St. Jude's, St. Vincent's.
yeah, one
There,
of those
and
is
then
where she had the
there's
baby. Like she didn't have the babies at Riley. She had the baby somewhere else.
yeah.
And
There's
then
several hospitals there. I've been there to have emergency aneurysm surgery. Went there. They couldn't do it where I live. They sent me there.
hmm,
But she lives close enough to Chicago that she could get. There's a cancer center there in Chicago that may take her and check her because of her symptoms.
right.
She could always call there if she needed to be checked out. She only like 4 hours away, if that.
Yeah, no, she's not far.
Yeah, it's. I think it's closer now since they put that new expressway in. But um, I was born up there, so and I live at the bottom of Indiana, so I'm only like 3.5 hours from her. So yeah, so I pretty much know what she's going, what she's looking at hospitals in Indy. I went to a really good one there when I had the aneurysm surgery done. I know that.
Are you near Indiana, Mary?
I'm in the bottom of Indiana.
Ah, you. I should have came
I'm only
see you
I'm only
when I.
3.5 hours from her.
Oh, yeah, she's in Norman, Indiana.
I know where
She
that's at.
she's near Indianapolis, but not really.
Right,
It's an
right.
hour 45 minutes, but that's where all
She's
the
on
good
the
hospitals are.
she's on the east side of Indianapolis. I
Yeah,
believe it's the east side. Yeah, yeah. She's in like what you call a suburb of Indianapolis.
yeah.
Yeah, because
And
Indianapolis is
there's
big.
nothing there but cows and more cows and some
Yeah,
owls and
it's like a yeah. It's close enough it could be considered Indianapolis. Yeah,
they only have one store there, I think, in her town, besides a gas station slash deli that's like a Wawa but for Indiana. And
yeah.
then they have like a Family Dollar, or is it General Dollar? I don't want to. The General. something. And then anything else you want, you have to drive out of that town. They have nothing.
Shire's got a question. He says, the bronchitis, since when did it turn ninja?
Yeah. Well, obviously, since she's been going through this with the high blood count, the high white blood count, cell
Yeah,
count. Whoa, it's a tongue twister. It's been since she's 14. So, and she always had it like every like 3 months she would get bronchitis during the winter, and like
right.
how is it possible? So but the fact that they say it's hiding, I'm like, no, like Doris said, they must know you have it. They did know she had it. They go, it will come up if you take a chest X-ray. So, okay, but you don't go to the doctor and they're gonna be like, let's take a chest X-ray. No, no.
Yeah. Well,
So
bronchitis can lay dormant. It does. People don't know that, but it can, and that's what they call chronic bronchitis. Look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about, people. I'm further than
oh
that,
yeah,
Doris.
Doris, you're over there
Doris,
too?
if you're in, yeah, but she's in Michigan. She's way more than 4 hours from me. You better try
Well,
about 12 hours
because
because it takes.
my sister, no, not in Michigan, in Wisconsin. I was gonna say she's 8 hours. My daughter when she goes to her business in Wisconsin. So that's 8 hours. My daughter.
Yeah, I mean, from me to Michigan is every bit of 8 hours to hit the border because I got to go. It's 5 to 6 hours depending on which way you go to Chicago because there's more than just one way to go from here. Um, and then from Chicago to Michigan state line because you got to get through Chicago first and the surrounding area, and it's just as hard to get through it than it is going through Chicago itself. Um, then you got to get through that. So then you're looking at another 2 hours, 3 hours. So every bit of 8 hours before I hit the line.
Yeah.
And that's, barring your time to stop and get something to drink and gas
Oh
and
yeah,
something to eat on the way.
you're gonna have to go to the bath. You're gonna have to do all that good stuff.
Right. And Christina, she gonna have to go to the bathroom because she
Do you
can
know
hold
how
herself like a trooper.
do you know how I went to Indiana?
How?
Greyhound, 24 hours. No, not
Oh
Greyhound.
my God.
Amtrak, 24 hours. In that Amtrak seat. Thank God, it reclined. But what a pain in the ass. And if you smoke, oh my God, every time that he said, okay, we're gonna stop for, a minute or two, I would jump out of like 2 cigarettes at a time. Like I was like, oh my God, I hate this. But I don't drive, and I don't fly, so that's how I went by Amtrak.
Doris, so I guess you're in Ohio instead of Michigan. I thought you was in Michigan.
Oh,
Now in Ohio, well, you're still. I can get to Ohio line in 4 hours, yeah. But I don't know how far it is from the Ohio line to you.
mm-hmm.
And Shire, it's going to be longer than 12 years.
12 years.
Credits in 12 years away.
If I walk or swim.
Shire. Let's see here. To pass Lake 1, there to beer.
5 days. No, Doris, 5 days.
They ain't drinking on his way. He's drinking his way through.
Oh no. Yeah, 24 hours. But I'm
5 days. Holy crap! You can drive it in 24 hours.
Or take the Amtrak. It's not as bad as you think.
Amtrak don't run through. It don't run around here like that, like it used to. Amtrak used to come through here, but it don't anymore. To catch an
It's
Amtrak, I have to go to
Indianapolis.
Alberta, Illinois, or somewhere.
Indianapolis is where I took it to, and there's a town like a little off from Indianapolis that
Yeah,
it
it's over
stops
in
into.
Illinois. It's over in Illinois. Probably it's either Grayville or Mount Vernon, Illinois. One of
No,
them over
it
there.
was still in Indiana. There was two stops in Indiana, but my daughter's
Yeah,
like, that other stop is in like a rural town, and she was afraid for my son and I to get off in the middle of the night or to go there in the middle of the night when we were getting on the train. So she was like, no, just go to Indianapolis. Meanwhile, Indianapolis is very damn place.
where the movies are. Evie says we live where the movies are. Now I live in Indiana. That's California. I live in California. Never again, Doris says, will she take a Greyhound that far?
Yeah.
Hey, I get it.
Well, yeah, so I'm supposed to go again. I, I, she's supposed to be getting married. I don't know. We'll see. If the guy can stand her until the wedding, they're supposed to be getting married in like October, so
Uh,
I'll go back in October a little beforehand to because I'm gonna do all the decorations stuff and then to watch the baby while they set up everything. So, but then maybe I'll come visit you and Doris.
Doris will be on your way through, probably around
If
in
there's
there
a
because
bus
you have to
like
come through. You come through Ohio,
from
don't you? To get, don't you come through Ohio to get to Indianapolis from where you're at?
uh
I'm
don't
pretty sure
know.
you do.
I know I went through Cincinnati. That's for
That's Ohio.
darn.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of places. If there was not a smoking spot in your town, I didn't know that I passed it. What happened there?
If I hear banjos, I'm out of
Oh, you're
there.
gonna have to see if you have any claim to it.
You ain't gonna hear no banjos here. You might hear a gunshot or two, but
Oh no,
that
no, no.
that'd be
I'm
off
gonna
in the
I'm gonna
distance.
tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happens in Indiana, guys. So I go to Indiana, and I always my daughter and I don't get along that well, but I was like, I'm coming to see the baby. You don't have to talk to me at all. Just leave me the baby, and we'll be fine. So anyway, I don't know what I told her something, and she got pissy. So I went outside on the porch, to smoke, and it was late, 10, 11 o'clock at night, maybe 11:30, and I see the owl, and I'm like, good. And the owl is making its noise. Then I hear the cows, and I'm like, good cows, owl. And then I hear this noise, Mary. It sounds like wild Indian and gunshot. Well, I had a nervous darn break. I ran in the house. I grabbed the baby. I ran into the living room with the baby. I'm like, the baby and I are going to hide in the bathtub. Get your guns. I know you have them and go outside. And she's like, why? I'm like, the Indians are coming to take back their land. And I'm like, run in the bathroom, right? And she's like, this freaking late. She's like, and her and the boyfriend are just standing there like, what? You know, I was out. I was in the bathtub with the kid, right? And she goes outside and she comes back and she's like, Mom. Yeah. She's like, those are hunters. They're making all that noise to attract the wild turkey because it was near, you
Right.
know, Thanksgiving. And I'm like, the turkeys really fall for that stuff? Like the noise, like it sounded like Indian. I swore it was Indians.
Yeah, there's other things they use.
And she was
Mouthpiece.
like, yeah, that's what they do. And I'm like, oh my God, the men in Indiana just never evolved. Like, I don't believe that the turkey. didn't evolve. I believe those idiots didn't evolve. Oh yeah, there was a lot of. I could make a whole big comedy skit of what happened to me in Indiana because that place was. I was like, they were like, "Don't you want to come live down here so you can have the baby?" I'm like, "Nope, not one bit. Sorry."
She must really live in the boonies. So you're not going to hear that here. You're not going to hear them out there hunting here. Well, you might hear them shooting, but it's going to be way off. And it's going to be down by the river. And I don't live too far from the river, so I can hear them down there. But
Oh, hi Cassie.
hi, Cassie. But as far as hunting, I mean, hearing the turkey call here in town, unless somebody's just out here doing it for fun, you ain't gonna be hearing it in town.
Yeah.
I live in a bigger area. Now, I did come from a small town that it wasn't real small, but it was small enough that you could possibly hear that. But
Yeah.
you'd have to live on the outskirts of town to hear it. But I knew
Like,
exactly what you was talking
yes.
about when you were in the house.
And I was like, no. I was like, and it sounded so close to me because all that is field, so everything echoes, right?
Right.
In the tub with the baby. And then, right when my daughter comes in, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And she's like, oh, I'm like, you don't even have one of those cast iron tubs. We're all gonna be killed. She's like, because it was like some plastic bull crap, you know, one with the little jets, and I was so mad. She's like, they just hunted turkeys. I'm like, you've been in the country too long. That there's nothing right about that, you know.
Wait till you're in the country and you're sitting there in a rural town, and next thing you know, you hear something sounds like a freight train, but there's no train around. That's a tornado coming at your ass. You better take cover.
Yeah.
Sound jet up like a freight train coming at you without the
Eddie,
horn.
really? The turkeys, the wild turkeys are that big? I'm glad I didn't see one. I didn't hear the turkeys. I only heard the idiots making the sound like the turkey. They were the big turkeys. Not the, not the turkeys. I didn't hear one
No,
turkey.
she means they walk up to the cars and they're huge. That the wild turkeys are. They can get pretty big. Depends on them old ones though, like that. I wouldn't want to. I don't eat wild meat anyway, but I wouldn't want to eat an old one. You're gonna want a
No.
young one if you get one.
Well, I think they're all crazy in Indiana. So we're
I
having,
guess I'd eat it if I had nothing else, but
if you had nothing else, that's right.
it's gonna be nothing else. It's gonna be nothing else to eat. I mean, not
That's,
even a vegetable.
but they
Or
don't
I
even
eat
do
wild
it.
meat.
They don't even do it for like, oh, I need to eat it. They do it for like sheer like fun. Like it was Thanksgiving Day. So besides
I don't agree with that. There is some hunters that are like that, but for the most part around here, if they shoot it, they eat it.
well, and then like, isn't there a law? She was telling me like if you
You can
shoot,
only shoot so many, and I think you have to have them field dressed, and you have to
yeah,
have
but
them.
yeah, I think you can't like shoot it on your property or some silliness. She was telling me like, and then if you like kill it by accident and then leave it or something, there's a law. She was telling me all these crazy laws. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not.
Well, if you say you hit a deer on the side of the road, and you just go off and leave that deer laying there, you have to stop, call the police, report it.
Right.
You have to do that, and you have to. And then if you know somebody who wants to come and get it, who has a tag for one, or if it's not even deer season, if you know somebody who wants the deer, if it's not in bad shape enough to where they can't use the meat,
Right.
then they can come and get it and dress it out. But um, like I hit one time, my brother come and picked it up, and but you have to report it if you hit one. Now, if you hit a small animal like possum or something like that, they run off. You know, you don't know if they're dead or not most of the
Right.
time. So speaking of that, I was in the country in Illinois one time, and we'd been over there, and that's when Frank was playing in this band. They practiced in Illinois. Well, we'd come back at nighttime. We'd take this it's dark country road. You know, it's
All
paved,
of
but it
Indiana has dark country
was
roads.
country. So it was all country through there. So I'm coming back. We're coming back, and I'm in the minivan, and we got the van full of people because all of us rode together because that way, cost less. And so get down the road a little bit. Next thing you know, you hear a thump thump. I'm like, what did I run over? We didn't see nothing, or nothing. Down the road a little bit more, go thump thump. I'm hitting these possums
Oh
left
God.
and right going down this road. I mean, literally every 5 minutes I was hitting a possum. And they like, can you not miss any of them? I said, I don't even see them. How am I going to miss them?
Right.
They're running out at me. So what am I supposed to do if they run in front of me? I
They're
mean, they're
laying
not
on
going to
the
know.
road waiting for Mary to come.
Right. So I had somebody who was sitting beside me. I said, you're going to have to start looking for the possums so I'll miss them. I said, because I'm not seeing them. They're not seeing them either. I mean, they are literally running out at the vehicle as it's coming to pass them. I don't know if they come at the light. I don't know if that's what was drawing them in from the headlights or what. But every 5 seconds, 5 minutes, you go thump 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 thump. Okay. I think the last count was we hit like 14.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was on this entire road. The road was pretty long, but yeah, I was hitting them left and right. Somebody could have them some possum stew down that road that night. Wouldn't be me, but Danny had two
Oh
deer
yes.
in the
Abby,
road
the
that
she was
day.
saying how Danny had the deer in the grove. The deer in the grove. The two deers in the grove. Did you
Oh
see that
wow,
video,
no,
Mary?
I didn't see it. I'm gonna have to go watch that.
Yeah,
That's
they were so
cool.
beautiful. Two of them, a mommy and a little one. The Town with Ben
Yeah, you
Affleck.
gotta go town with Ben Affleck. That's what I was brought up in. A tough place. The police went. No, I'm not going in there. I'm moving right quick. I'll have to watch. I'll have to bring it up. So they done the filming in the town you lived in, Shire. Is that what you're talking about, or is it like the town that you
Yeah.
grew up in? I'll tell you right now, in Memphis, it was like that in the projects. Police didn't go in there. They had to call the National Guard in there to clean it out.
Mm.
Sure did. Police would they had SWAT teams and everything else, and they wouldn't even try to even go into projects in Memphis at one point. In Dyer, Indiana, either not Dyer, but uh, Gary, Indiana too. They to clean them out. They had to take in the National Guard.
Oh, it was like the film.
Oh, okay.
The place that you grew, the town, like Ben Affleck was in, that town was just like the one that he grew
Yeah.
up crazy like. Ah, I got.
I've never watched it, but I'll have to look it up and see and watch it and see, and I'll let you know what I think.
But Luna grew up just like that too, obviously.
Well, I didn't grow up like that, but I know of it. My cousin lived in Memphis for a long time, and my ex husband was from Tennessee, and they had the projects down there. I remember seeing the projects, but they were closed off. They closed them down, and they. Oh, really, RP? Cool. I'll have to watch it too. Um. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, well, I seen the projects and stuff where it used to be, but they wasn't like that anymore. They had closed them down and stuff, and they're fixing to tear them down. They were fixing to build some new. high rise buildings there for something. I don't remember if they're apartments or what they were putting back there, but they wasn't the projects no more. I'll put you like that. And they haven't been bad like that anymore since then. But it's
RP, that was your last video, I think, right? I'm gonna post the link. Looks interesting. Here you go. Everybody can go watch that reaction video for the paranormal on RP's channel using that link.
yeah. You guys can post your channels if you want to.
Yeah, I figured I'd link the video straight. He said it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can put your channel there if you want to.
Well, now you press the
Whoever.
buttons again. I just rolled RP's bones. So
Oh, I got to put Cassie. I ain't got her. Hang on, Cassie. If you're still here.
Ghostshire doesn't have any videos. I have the Tales in the Dark video, the one, but I don't ever get her notifications, and they're on. You know what it is? If I don't see a name that I recognize, sometimes when I'm scrolling through the 500 notifications, I miss it. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
and she keeps
Cassie,
changing her name. Damn Cassie.
I know, right? There, Cassie, you can put your link. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you wasn't blue until it dawned on me that you changed your name, and and then I better put it back. So
Yep. I still always call her Huntress, because that was my favorite name she had. But and she just had a video one day ago. I didn't see any.
when you see where Danny put, boy, you got a pretty mouth. Oh hell no, basically. He meant to say hell no, but he put he no. I know what it means. I know what it's saying. Hell knows what he's saying.
I know. You know what? We've been doing this exercise because because of my accent. But I'm from New York. We curse a lot, right?
All right,
So
you
he's
do here
like,
in Indiana too.
I don't like all the cursing. So I was like, okay. So I try to catch myself a lot now. And I was doing better, but when I get like hyper and you forget because you've been doing it your whole life. The F word is like saying the word, I don't coffee. Coffee and the F word go together. Okay? It's like
Right,
the same thing. People say the F word here like they say the word coffee. It's second nature. So it's
right,
really hard to stop yourself sometimes. So he'll go
right.
to me like, "Oh, your accent," and I'm like, "Oh, sorry." So I've been trying, but
You're
that's
welcome,
why.
RP. You can share your channel, or they can go to that link and get it that way. One or the other, if you want to.
Oh, you're welcome, Arp.
Yeah, I haven't watched that Evie on Cassie. I was telling everybody when I first started tonight. I haven't watched any videos in over 9 months, about 9 months, I guess, because health issues and stuff, my sons and all that, and I didn't want to cause my energy to drop out because I wasn't having much as it was to start with. I mean, so
Yeah. Is that what Cassie's doing now, Evie? Oh, that sounds fun. Gotta go look. Just
yeah,
change your name back to the Huntress of the Unknown so I can know who you are.
she's been doing a lot of stuff different. She used to just do cards, and she's branched out, and I'm really glad she has because she needed to. She's come out of her shell a lot, and she's opened up more, and that's good.
Did you ever see my video that I did, my shout out video to her? I did this shout out video for Cassie of her when she
No.
would do those videos of showing her new deck. Oh my god. The other day,
Oh
Cassie,
yeah.
I actually watched it. I laughed my butt off.
When she said, yeah, her she can call it Dex. She said something else. I like to fell out of my chair when she said that night.
Yeah,
I was rolling.
I tried to make it funny. I'm like, this is my 328th deck. And then at the end I was like, and tomorrow I'll be getting 329. Like,
Right? And she's like, she kept saying she wasn't gonna get no more. I'm not gonna get no more decks. And next thing you know, a week later, she's got 3 new ones coming. She's
yep.
addicted.
That's right, Shire. That's how it is here. Like every other word. Yeah. Ah, thank you, Evie. But he says accent because of the curse words. Like he likes my voice, but he calls my words my accent. Because it's like that. The curse words are like, because in Canada they don't curse. They say shite,
Yeah.
but that's it. Like that's like the only word they use. I think they say that in the UK too. Don't they call it that? Shire, shite. They say shite instead of shit.
Well, I'll say that before I say the F word. Now, I'm when I get mad, if my temper's up, I'm liable to say them all in
Yeah,
one sentence at that.
that's right.
but
I mean,
I've
you
really
know.
tried to cut back on saying any of them.
Oh no, we curse. No, I really never heard Danny curse. I heard the shit, but other than that,
He does, but it's very seldom.
yeah.
He's very respectful on that. On that.
Oh, but not around mom. Yes. Oh, I heard the weird noise. Okay.
It
Anyway,
changed a word.
it
It
sounded
changed it.
like it sounded like somebody was putting air in a tire and then pulled the thing out, and you hear that. Psst. That was the sound. And
I would think so, Abby, but some people think it's not, but it's like saying like the kids going around saying "dang" all the time. They might as well be saying "damn" or "friggin" that they call
yeah.
friggin. They might as well be saying the word as far as I'm concerned, because that's what they're meaning, and we all know it. I never let my kids do that until they got older. Now they cuss like a sailor. Maybe I should have let them cuss in a year. Maybe they would have grown out of it by now, but now they cuss like a sailor.
My son's grandmother from his father's side used to come up with these crazy things to yell at the kids, when she would watch them. And she's like, and the kid said something, she was an older lady. And she turns around and she goes, I don't give a flying fart in outer space about that now. And I was like, okay there.
Flying fart down her
Give a flying
face.
fart in outer space.
Oh, no, that's funny.
Yeah. So that whole
uh,
sentence is now the best curse word I've ever heard.
Sarah says they rule with sarcasm. I agree with that.
Hmm.
I 100% agree with that. Oh, I can be pretty sarcastic, but I try not to be. I don't like hurting people.
No, well, sarcasm is another New York natural thing that
But
comes.
I've changed over the years. Actually, the older I got, the more gentle of a person I am. Does that make sense? I don't I don't go out of my way to hurt people, and I don't. I just don't. I walk away from it anymore. Now, used to, I'd stand up and argue with you. I'd cut you out if I thought you needed it. If you give me a reason,
Right.
I'll be the first one to say I'd do it. But not anymore. Now, you mess with my kids or my family or my closest friends, I'll have then it comes out. But other than that, I just walk on if it's about me.
Ah, Doris. That's it. I remember I said something to my father too, and I was already, I was over 18. I was in my 20s. And he's like, "Oh yeah?" And he hit me, and I was like, "What the heck? You can't do that." I'm over 18. He's like, "I don't care how old you are. You don't talk to your father like that." I was like, "Okay."
I was 18. I remember I was 18, and I just turned 18, and it was the summer after I turned 18, and I think I was, yeah, I was going to be 18 that winter, and this was in the summer. So it was in August. I remember that because we was cleaning the house, getting ready, because we was going to have the family reunion, and after family reunion, everybody comes to our house. It's just something that happened back then, and they'd have a party afterwards, and they drink, carry on, and dance, and the whole night away. But anyway, Mama never liked anybody to tell her that to say she was lying, or that you just say that you know better, blah blah. Well, especially if you're a kid, uh, basically calling her a liar. And she said something, and I said, I know better than that. And I wasn't thinking. And she said, do what? And I said, that's not how it's done. I said, that's not what was said. She said, yes, it is. I said, no, it isn't. And when I said, no, it isn't, I picked myself up off the floor across the room.
No.
You didn't back talk to Mama, and you didn't call her a liar. That's one thing she hated, was saying that she was lying. She slapped me and backhanded me across the room, and that was the last time I ever said anything across to my mama. I knew not to shit in her side of the woods, because you're
That's
going to
right.
pick your teeth up. You may eat them, you may pick them up off the floor, but one or the other, they're coming out. But
No.
she felt bad because she hit me hard. I don't think she realized she hit me that hard, and I was big then. Yes, my mama she wasn't an overweight woman. She just was a big woman. She was big boned, and she had hands like a man.
No.
And when she punched you, you knew you'd been hit. Let me tell you. Which she never punched me or anything like that. She wasn't abusive. She really wasn't. She figured I was grown. I was soon to be 18 years old, and she thought I was overstepping, and she made dang sure that I didn't overstep no more.
That's right.
She said, don't think you're too old. She said, because you're not. She said, you'll never be too old as long as I'm alive. She said, don't ever talk to me like that again. And I didn't. Not one time did I ever cross words with her after that. Now we get into arguments and stuff, but I always watched how I worded stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep your jaw intact? You better.
Hey, Tina. Thanks for coming by, sis.
Hi Tina. I know she hit like a man, man. You just don't say that.
The worst beating I ever got. Mom said I'm sick, and I said I'm tired. Bad idea that was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Danny. Pretty sure Mom took that walking stick and beat you with it.
Yeah, your mama like my mama. You gotta, they old school. They didn't play that. Back when I was growing up, when we was kids, you got a butt whooping, and it wasn't against the law to do it.
Oh yeah.
I don't agree with parents beating I don't believe with any kid getting beat. I don't believe to where that they don't use the butt, or spank them on the butt if they hit them somewhere else or whatever. I don't believe in that. But to spank a child, it's technically not against the law
And you need to do it.
if it's done right.
Yeah. And you need to do
If
it.
you Right, and if you ask the welfare people, or you even ask the police, it's underneath their corporal punishment, as they call it, and they'll tell you if it's done right. Yes, you can spank your child, but you can't
Meanwhile,
leave any marks. You can't leave any
yeah,
marks on them, and
me,
that's where it's going to be hard.
meanwhile, I'll never forget social service came to my house one because my daughter told the teacher I threw a cup at the sink. The social service lady comes to my house, right? And I'm like, "What's up?" you know? And she's like, your daughter said about the situation. And I was like, "What's?" And she's like, "Well, that you threw a cup at and were violent." I go, "What now?" I said, "These two, you see her? She's a big girl. She's 7 years older than my son, who's 4. Okay. They were fighting and she grabbed him, and I didn't want to pull them apart, but would not hurt them. I said, so I took the Snoopy cup because I was like, hey, hey, stop. And they wouldn't stop. Here's the cup, this little tiny Snoopy plastic cup. And I threw it at the sink to get their attention so they would stop fighting. I should get an award. So she's like, well, I think you should take anger management courses. I said, lady, you obviously don't have children, and I don't want to talk to you anymore. Get out of my house. I'm going to come tomorrow. Give me the address of your place, and I want to see your boss. Make sure she's there tomorrow, 1 o'clock. I'm coming with the kids, and I want to talk to her. Her
Right.
boss was a big black woman with lots of kids. And I
IRB, take
know
care.
for a damn fact. Oh, take care, RP. I know for a darn fact that lady has got mad a lot of times. So she's like, I would go in the bathroom and curse. I'm like, I didn't curse. I took them to stop. I brought the cup with me again. And I
Right.
threw it, you know? They were here, like right under me, and I threw it at the sink. I go, I brought you a diagram. In fact, better yet, I brought you a picture. So I show her, and I'm drawing. I'm like, here's where. And she's like, okay, but we have to keep the case open for 30 days. I go, don't ever send me. I don't care. You can come visit me anytime you want. I said, but don't send me any woman or
That's
man
never had
or
kids.
that doesn't have kids. Because
They don't have a clue.
she's reading out of this book and I want to smack her. I said, my only aggression was not at my kids. It was at that lady. She was like, oh God. I'm like, that's where my aggression lies with them.
And Doris says, my nephews, when I watch them, they got diapers to protect them. Right? The head of CPS said if he needs a spanking, go ahead. Just don't leave whelps to me about my son. That's right, Papa Bear. I went, my cousin, she kept saying, no, you can't spank us. You can't spank us. So when they had a welfare visit, the lady come, all the kids are sitting there. I looked at her. It was for my cousin. It wasn't for me. I looked at her and I said, can you or can you not spank your children if it's done right? She said, you most definitely can spank your children if it's done right. She said, you cannot leave whelps and you cannot leave bruises. And you have to hit them on their bottom, on their butt. She said, other than that, it's not against the law to whip your kids. Just spank your kids. I said, I looked at all the kids sitting there. I said, and the one, her mouth dropped open. She said, are you serious? And she said, yes, I'm very serious. I said, I told you. I said, so look out. Guess what y'all going to have coming? I said, mess up. Man, they was the best kids there for the longest time. They really thought, man, they really thought they had one over on us when they said that we couldn't spank them. I even had to prove to the one that was taking care of them, well, the one's mother, she didn't know that. I said until I asked her in point blank.
Yeah.
And she said, well, she may need to put that in writing because nobody else is going to say that. I said, yes, they will. I said, you want me to call them, have them put it on speaker so they'll tell you on the phone too? I said, I'm telling you, it's not against law to spank your kids. No, it's when you overdo it. It's beating a child or leaving them with bruises or whelps or or breaking something is when you should get in trouble.
Right. You know what doesn't leave any whelps, guys? Is I'll never forget. He was 17, my nephew, so it wasn't like I was hitting a child. But my nephew stayed with me a little bit, and he got me so mad about something, right? And he's like, I'm like, I'm gonna spank you. And he, big boy, 17. And I was like in my I just had Jonathan, he was little, so I was like 31, like we weren't that far apart in age, you know? And he's like, my mom doesn't even spank me. I said, well, that's where your mother went wrong, and that's why you don't live with her, and that's why she can't take you. I said, I'm not your mother. I said, I'm gonna spank you. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. I got a paper towel roll, the inside of a paper towel roll, and a empty Sprite bottle. And I went in that room, and with both of them, I hit, and they don't leave any marks. I mean, I hit him with that soda bottle, but because it crushes, it hurts, but it don't leave marks. Either does the
I
paper
heard
towel.
that. I heard that my brother told me one time that in the service to keep from leaving any marks, they put soap in a sock and roll you up in a sheet and beat you that way, and it don't leave no marks. So I don't know, but I'm just saying that I wonder if
Oh
that's a
yeah, I
possibility
don't
for
know.
me.
I mean, I
I
didn't
don't
want
know.
to.
I'm not going to try it. I'm just saying that
Right, I
that's
didn't
what I
want to. I
heard.
didn't really want to hurt the kid, but
I don't want to hurt
like
my kids either.
I needed
I
to.
love my
I needed him to learn a little lesson about stepping all over people, especially people who are trying to help him. And years later, a few 5 years later, and he had a little one, and she was about one. And he wrote to me on Facebook, and he said, the best time I had as a adolescent, a child, was the time I spent with you. You worked hard. What you did for your kids and for me with no money and everything. And I'm sorry I gave you a hard time and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, nicest thing. And my kids didn't even ever. Well, they're still little, but it was nice to be like, oh, at least he appreciated what I tried to do. So he wasn't upset about the soda bottle, but he needed it.
yeah. My kids are grown now. I mean, they're 20, 27, 28 years old. So if I want to hit them now, I can. They don't. But I'll tell you what, if they want to pop off to me, they don't get too close to me. They know if I get a hold of them, my hands are head. But
Yes.
like my one son, he'll back up and then he'll say something to me. He just laughs. But he's just doing it to joke around with me. He's just
Yeah.
playing with me. It would be different if he was if he they don't. I'll put you like this: they joke around me. They don't talk to me out of in a bad way. I mean, they respect me enough to where now the one he'll argue with you left and right, but does he say anything out of the way to me? Technically, no, he don't. Uh, Neither one of them will. They got respect, and they respect their elders and they respect other people.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness, Papa Bear. And sometimes, and it's scary when scary things go to happen to your kids. Like my mother ran over my sister's foot, but to my sister at the time, it was like by accident with the car, right? And it's so like scary at the time. You're like, oh my God, that my mother got out of the car, was like, what's wrong with you standing next to the car? Like, and because it's so emotional, that's the only thing you can think of when
Right?
a kid does
Right.
something stupid. Although, and then my big mouth, I was like, but mom, you drove away when she was halfway in the, like she was trying to get in the car. You didn't even check for her. My mother's like, are you telling me what I was doing? I was like, nope. Mm-mm.
Tina put her dad is calling by their full name. That was my mother. If my mother called you, if she said Mary Evelyn Bean, I knew I was had.
Yeah.
He was in trouble for something. And it didn't matter because when she put all that together, you knew that you better take whatever you got coming because it was on.
Oh,
Let me tell you.
yep.
Now
And
my dad was sneaky about his. He just come up and grab you and be done with it.
Yeah,
He didn't say nothing. He just grabbed you and gone.
yeah. No, well, my father used to do the other thing. He didn't care. If he was mad, he didn't care what kid he was mad at because he couldn't remember like the name. He would just go, Stephanie, come here. He would put both of our names together and
Right,
we're like, oh crap. Now we're both gonna get I don't know what we did even,
right.
And like we'll go
Well,
in there, and he's like, do you see this? What happened? And both of us were like, Mom did it.
well, if they didn't know which kid done it, we
Mom did
all
it.
got
Both
it.
of us. We figured he
I
wasn't
remember.
gonna hit her.
I remember well one time my mom had this salt and not salt, but sugar and creamer set that was set on the table, and it was silver. And
So it was
one of
heavy.
them got well, one of them got smashed, and it wasn't me. It was the one I think that held the sugar got spilt and smashed on the floor. Anyway, got stepped on. Anyway, and bent up, and my mom was mad because it was a gift,
Right.
and she was mad to be. And I told her I didn't do it. I said you can spank me, Mom, but I didn't do it, and that was the truth. I mean, I wouldn't be standing there telling her she could spank me if I'd done it.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, but I told her she could do it. She could do it if she felt she needed to. I said, but I didn't do it. And she looked at the boys. She said, "One of y'all do it?" And they both said, "No, they didn't do it." She lined us up. First one got his spanking. Second one got his spanking. Got to me, and my brother said, "Don't spank her." Said I'd done it.
No.
And she said, "And you let me spank your brother because of that, his other brother." And she said, "Well, I don't want you spanking Sissy. She didn't do it." And I said, "I told you I didn't do it, Mom." I said, "But I took the whooping anyway."
Yeah.
She said, "Well, I'm glad you didn't do it." She said, "But," she said, he shouldn't have waited that long. He should have told me. You know, he shouldn't have waited for somebody else to get a spanking.
So
He got
he
in more
got he
trouble.
got another spanking on top of
Yeah,
that one.
he got
Sure.
another spanking on top of that one. When Daddy got home, it was twice as bad. Daddy got home. If
Yeah.
Daddy had to spank you after Mama had done it, you knew you was in trouble.
Yeah.
I thought my name was you buggering. What? Buggering thing. Oh, until I was 10. Oh, Lord. I had to reread that to understand it. Abby went to make breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cut this at 2 hours. I'm at 1:43.
All righty.
I'm getting winded.
I'm making her laugh too much, guys.
No, I get winded no matter if I'm talking or not. But I've been talking a lot, so I think I'm doing good compared to what I had been. I was not doing saying 2 or 3 words, and then I have to stop and wait a minute, and then say a few more, and then at least this time around I'm talking 90 to nothing.
Yeah, no, you did good.
Sure miss that laugh. You talking about me, Cassie? Everybody likes my laugh. I don't know why.
Well, you and me have kind of similar laughs. We have if we get really going, we have that like witch crackle
Oh
laugh.
yeah, like he goes high, and then yeah, and then we have the smaller one. Yeah, I agree with that. You're right.
Yep.
I'm the middle child, Papa Bear, so I get what you're saying there. Let's talk about our siblings. Let's do that.
Well,
What have
I'm
we ever
I'm
done
the
to our siblings?
I was the older one, and I'm gonna tell you something. I got mad, and I said I'm not gonna do that to my kid because the older one, like with me, My mother was so strict. I had to do all this stuff. I had to get the good grades. I had to go every weekend, even though I worked. I had to go every weekend and do all the family's laundry and everything. My sister didn't work, didn't go to school barely, didn't do anybody's laundry. I was like, what the heck is wrong with you? She still doesn't work till this day. I'm like, I told my mother, that's your fault. Because with the first kid, you were like, oh, I'm going to do everything right. And then with the second one, you're like, oh, no, screw her. Like, that's your fault. It's not, whose fault is it? She's like, no, I did the same thing. I'm like, you don't. You
Right.
don't and you didn't, And then the first one, after you tortured, basically, they're the ones you don't like the most. You like the one that's the lazy, one that just sits home with you. Like, it's like so weird.
I don't know. We was growing up. My oldest brother, he had this thing about. I don't know why he'd pick at me, and sometimes I don't know if he'd get jealous or what. And I think now that we're grown, I think it's because he was jealous because he has said a few things since he's been grown that kind of leads to that. But anyway, this one time we was out in the horse pasture and we're out there and I don't know what we was doing, but anyway, he had his BB gun out. He shot me in the butt with the BB gun.
I got shot in the butt with a
I
BB gun.
told
It
him, I said,
hurt.
all right. I said, all right. I said, I'll pay you back. I waited. Bide my time. I sat there and I waited for days. And, my mom got on him, and stuff for shooting me and stuff like that. Because it left a mark. I mean, I was bruised and everything else. It hurt.
Yeah.
And mom was like, where'd you get that bruise from? I said, Danny shot me in the rear with a BB gun. Daddy busted the BB gun up after that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Be no more BB guns if you're gonna shoot your sister." He said, "Till you get older." So he busted that one in front of him. He said, "You won't shoot it no more." He had to teach him a lesson one way or the other, where he wasn't shooting animals or shooting me, or whatever. But anyway, so I said, "It's all right. I'll pay him back, Mom." I said, "Just give me time." She's like, "Yes, you heard that." She said, "Don't come crying to me when she does." Well, he had to go crying to Mama because I put a hole in his head.
Oh no.
He was messing with me one day and he wouldn't stop. I picked I got really really good aim. Always have had. To this day, I still have. If I throw with my left hand, I threw a rock, hit him in the back of the head, busted his head open, cut his head open. He had to have stitches. He still wears that scar to this day.
Yeah, see that?
He's got a scar there, and Mom, she hit me in the head with the rock. She said, well, she told you she'd pay you back. You
That's
shouldn't have
right.
shot her in the butt with the BB gun. Well, I didn't bust her skin open. I'm bleeding. Mom looked at it. She said, I think you're going to have stitches. She had to take him to the doctor and get stitches, but I didn't get in trouble. She
No,
just told me
well,
not to
because
bust no more rocks.
that's
But
right.
that was it. They
Next time,
couldn't
do it
bust
with
up
the
the rocks. But
soda
Daddy
bottle.
wasn't happy. But Daddy wasn't happy. He said, but he said she has to take up for herself. Said, you're not going to be the only one that ever picks on her. And we was brought up, you took up for yourself, whether it be in school, wherever you was at, you took up for yourself. And somebody hit you, you better hit them back. That's what we was taught. I mean, I not to turn the other cheek. Now they expect kids to take it and just walk away and
Oh,
not
I
hit
know.
back. But I'll tell you right now, I didn't let my kids take no whooping in school. I told
No.
them, I said, some kid thinks they're big enough to get on you and start beating you up. Don't take it. You hit them back. Don't hit first, but you hit them back.
But
Don't,
that's what my son had the problem with. Like I always told him, no, you got to stick up, for stuff, but don't go overboard. Like if the kid pushes you, you can push him back,
Right.
but don't punch him because he didn't punch you. Like I
Right.
tried.
I said you can give what they give you. If
Right.
somebody punches you, you punch them. If they push you, you push them back. But
But
don't
sometimes,
show it first.
he was very sensitive. So words would bother him so much and they kind of knew it. So they would go to him and he would push him. And I'm
Right.
like, you can't be the first one. He kept getting suspended. And I'm like, listen, kid,
Right.
you can't be the first one. You can't put your hands on anybody first. You gotta wait. But one time, I agreed with him. So I went down to the school and I said, no, I've, I've let you suspend him 4 times now because I agreed with your story. This time I don't agree with it. And, it's your fault. And I'm not signing anything and you need to put him back in school. What happened was my son was like special ed. I don't know. They had a special
Right.
name for it. But anyway, so the teacher put 3 of them in the room who are there for counseling because they're problem children, right?
Well, they still call it special ed, I think.
Yeah, so the counselor put 3 of them problem child in a room and then leaves. So my son thought
Yeah.
it would be funny to turn off the light. So he turned off the light. The other kid got scared and pushed him. So he pushed the kid back, right? So
Uh
I said, so the moral of the story here is your dumbass teacher who should be watching them. There should be a teacher at all times. I don't care. With these kind of children. My son has, an IEP a mile long. Why would you leave him alone in a room with 3 other kids who have an IEP? Somebody's going to do something. That's why they're there in the counseling room, you know? I'm like, no, 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 no. Had a big to do, and finally they took off the suspension. I was like, no, no. I want that teacher suspended. What if something happens? Not that my son turned off the light. Turning off the light is no big deal. And there's windows in the room. It wasn't like it was pitch black or, you're in a school.
yeah.
I said the kid pushed him. What if the kid pushed him so hard he hit his head? He was bleeding. He needed immediate help. How long was the teacher out of the room? I want to know these things. Like, this is not what you do. Like, I had a whole big to do, and finally they were like, fine. So I only won one fight in the whole time my kids went to school.
My youngest son, he was always a stout boy. He wasn't what they call fat. He just a big boy. And my oldest son he's real thin. Always has been tall and thin. Well, the oldest one kept getting picked on because he was so thin and just he kind of was quiet for a long time. And yeah, he was in special ed for a couple of classes, but that was it. The rest of it he wasn't. And it's just because he has ADHD and it took him a little longer to catch on than the other kids. But he's smart, ain't the word for it. But anyway, they try him, and they push him around or whatever, and he didn't like to fight back then. So my youngest brother would take it up. And he told him, he said, quit picking on my brother. He said, you're going to have problems. And the other kid said, I think they were like, I want to say 12, 12 or something, 11 or 12, somewhere in there. I think Matthew was 11 and Patrick was 12. Anyway, they got off this bus, and this kid gets off the bus the same time they do. So my son got off the bus where he did. Both of them did. And my youngest one, he's just waiting for him to get off that bus. He's standing where he can't see him. Kid comes off the bus, and he pushes the kid. He said, what are you going to do about this now? He said, you picked on my brother. You've hit him. You've done everything. He said, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
He said, come on, let's settle this. And she's going to leave my brother alone. That kid he thought, okay, I'll be able to handle this. So he went to hit my son, and my son laid him out.
Oh.
Down he went. After that, nobody pretty much didn't mess with my youngest son at all. Until there being one to come along and think he was froggy enough to. And They find out. Next thing you know, I get a phone call from school that they're fighting. He's fighting in school. And I say, well, who started it?
Yeah.
And they'll say, we don't care who started it. He finished it. And that's said when blood starts flying, we have to call you. Apparently, he put it on some kids, man. Let me tell you, he got a reputation that that he still has that reputation to this day.
Yeah.
I'll have to say he's tough. I wouldn't want to fight him. I've seen him fight. I wouldn't want to fight him. And he was an unruly kid. I had to send him off and get some help for him and stuff because he got when he hit puberty, it's like he changed, like he totally changed, and he got unruly and stuff, and he thought he was grown. He could stay out as late as he wanted to and do what he wanted to, and Mama said no, and I took care of it and sent him off.
Yeah.
He come back a different kid. He come back the kid I had thought I lost. And but he still didn't take no crap. I mean, he's 14 years old. He's bench pressing 350 pounds. I
Yeah.
mean, what 13-year-old? Not too many 13-year-olds do that. So, but he's tough to this day. I wouldn't want to fight him. But they'd get in fights there at my house, and stuff, and he'd be fighting him and his brother, and I mean, they'd be duking it out. I mean, I'm talking blood flying, fists flying. I'm talking, the police wouldn't even touch him. They wouldn't
Oh.
even get in the middle of it. They said, we're not fighting him. He's too much. So we'll just tase him, put him down. And that's at 13 years old. They didn't want to fight him. They didn't even want to try to even get in the middle of it. So, but when the police would show up, he would stop. When he knew they were there, he would stop automatically. Both of them would. They just stand up, walk off. But that one day the cops was there and he didn't know they were there, and man, they were going at it. And finally I hollered at him, told him, I said, the police is here, and he stopped. But until I did that, the cop was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
He said, my God, your kids are boxers. I said, I know, right? He said, that's what they need to be doing. So there was a guy that lived across the street. He was a professional lightweight boxer. Well, he wasn't professional. He done the middle class, the middle something, I don't know. Anyway, he did challenges and stuff like that. And he taught a class on boxing. Well, he had a ring in his backyard. So he asked Matthew one day to come over, and spar with him on stuff like that. So he put him up against this other kid about the same size as Matthew. And I think he was a couple of years older than Matthew was, but about the same size. And they went to go, they'd been sparring and stuff, but this is a regular boxing. So he's going to teach them boxing, right? So they go to fight. Matthew hits him, knocks him out, lays him out, literally knocks this kid out. Matthew quit that day. He says, I can't do it. He said, I don't want to hurt anybody.
Right.
He knew, he realized then that you know, if he could do that one hit, he he just couldn't do it. He said, I don't want to be the one to cause somebody hurt or pain or anything like that. He said, now, what? No. Okay. May not be till tomorrow. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so he stopped doing anything he was doing that got bad.
Down here or what?
Can, just in case. I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, if we don't have the money to, we don't have any money.
Hang on, you guys. I gotta.
Nobody's chatting. I'm reading the chat. I have you guys down here. Yous are still there, or Mary and I are talking to ourselves? Everybody fell asleep on us, Mary.
I'm
country
back.
boy Explorer. How are you?
I'm back.
Okay.
Anyway, what I was saying is he quit his fighting. Yeah, he will if he has to, but he's grown so much, and he's working, got a new girlfriend, and he's he doesn't in that fighting no more. He was when he was younger though. Hi,
Oh yeah.
country boy. But I guess I've told everybody what's been going on with me, and we've talked for a while. I don't have a lot to talk about, not unless it's paranormal. I mean, we can talk that, but it's already been 2 hours. I've had enough, I think, for tonight. I don't want to wear myself out, y'all. Starting back.
No. If
So,
you didn't hear the story, of course, go back to the beginning of the live stream. Mary
right.
explained everything. If you want to hear some funny jokes about me in Indiana, you can go back and listen to that too. If you were not here in the beginning.
I was telling everybody why I haven't been on. It was all medical reasons between me and my son, and um, it has improved now some, so that's why I'm back. Thank you, country boy. I'm glad I'm back too. Thank you, Danny. But anyway, you guys, I'm gonna call it a night, and I'll set up a new live for next week. Um, if Thursdays, I don't know. I'm gonna look see on a few people, see when they're on, because I don't want to go over top on a few people. So I haven't been checking their channels out, but I will to see who's on when, so I know not to go over top of them, because we usually have the same people. So
Yeah, but I actually think Thursday night's good because
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I don't remember anybody going Thursday nights unless I've changed it.
no, because I've
Yeah, me
looked.
too, Shire.
I haven't got any notifications since you've been on for paranormal stuff. I've got other stuff,
Right,
but you know, you know, I haven't. Yeah, so this 2 hour span was really good.
right.
Just
All right, you guys.
people got to know you're here.
Right, all right. I agree. All right, you guys. Thank you all for being here. I agree, Shire. Thanks, Danny, for coming. Thanks, Country Boy. I know you just got here, but I've been on for a couple hours, and I gotta keep my energy going up. Keep it where it's at. So anyway, y'all take care. I'll see you next week. It'll probably be Thursday night, but like I said, I'm gonna check and see. But I'll have it posted ahead of time. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, guys.